that might be nearby. I think it's safe. Hey everyone, Scott Player, Pop Cult fan here, and in this video, something I want to do, something a little bit different, is I want to talk about the newest Quiet Place video game that just came out. A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. And you know, it's a survival horror game, and it's definitely like in a similar vein as, say, Alien Isolation, which I have been playing, and I love that game. And something that I find very fascinating about A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead is that it's like 100 plus days after the Day One prequel film that came out, right? But you know, this new game, it's centering on new characters and a new story, so it's not necessarily a continuation of the movies, because it's but it's still within the same universe, so it's within continuity with the movies. And I just think that, you know, in regards to visuals, like, the game looks beautiful, by the way. Like, the graphics, it looks really well done, and photorealistic, you know, human characters with a game like this. And, you know, I was looking at the actress that voices the player character, you know, Alex, Inaris Quinones. I really hope I didn't butcher that last name, but I was looking up her, that actress, and she actually did some voice work in Pokemon. She did voice work in new Pokemon Snap, as well as the Detective Pikachu Returns game for the Switch. So, and the Pokemon Twilight series that was uploaded to YouTube. So she's done some voice work for Pokemon, which I'm really I had no idea. And I thought she was great as this character of Alex, who in the story for this game, she ends up being pregnant because her boyfriend, Martin, I believe that's his name, he gets killed off by the end of the game. I don't think that's a spoiler, because I think it was marketed in the trailers. I think it was. That might be a tiny little bit of a spoiler on my part, but yeah, her boyfriend gets killed off, and then throughout the entire game, she's, you know, surviving in this world. She has to be so quiet. She has to whisper, and she's by herself most of the time too. And then we get flashbacks to Day One, which we get a little bit more backstory of Martin and his family, and how we see, like, there's another character in this game, like Lauren, I think Martin's mom. She acts a certain way towards Alex in present time of the 100 plus days, right? She acts different towards Alex in the present time. And in the flashbacks to Day One, we see how that started to, you know, get in Lauren's head as to why she really does not like Alex, and later on in the timeline. And I think that's a very, you know, it's a typical kind of thing with this kind of post-apocalyptic story, very Walking Dead-ish in that way. And I think, like, the story there, while there's not a whole lot of story throughout most of the game, because there's not a whole lot of cutscenes, like during the middle part, and because most of it is front loaded to the front. And I think it's just so fascinating, because you're just experiencing this world from Alex's eyes, and she's pregnant, and that's just so. And on top of that, she has asthma, so with the game mechanics, surviving in this world, she has this, you know, asthma spray to use to, you know, help her, and it provides for some very intense moments. And then, you know, for those of you that have the game, you know that there's this option to include sound effects coming from the mic on the controller, and you can play the game in that way by having that on your controller, right? And you don't want to talk like this in the controller because you'll die immediately. And yeah, so that's a really interesting way to play the game. You have to be extra quiet if you have the microphone on your controller while playing the game. So shh, no talking. Maybe a tiny little whispering here and there, but no talking, no talking. And yeah, that provides for a very unique gaming experience. I want to play this game, but I don't have a console to play it, which is unfortunate. But watching walkthroughs of the game on YouTube, I'm okay with that. I just wish I could play it myself, even though I kind of dread playing the game myself, because that sounds scary. Playing a game like this where you had to be so quiet, and I and also I noticed like there's a lot of dark moments throughout the game, which I think might be one of the many flaws that people have with it, because there's a lot of dark areas that Alex is exploring throughout the game, especially at night or in like really dark places. So the lighting might be an issue for a lot of people, and while playing the game, that might be an issue. So, but other than that, though, like I don't know how the game connects to the movies. I'm sure there's connections, Easter eggs, references to the movies in the game, and I'm just so fascinated with this kind of video game. And Alien Isolation is a really good example of being something similar, because you also don't really have anything to defend yourself with for most of the game, which also provides for some very intense gameplay. You don't have much to defend yourself. You just gotta, sneak around. You gotta, do stealth, and that's basically what the game is: stealth. Trying to avoid, getting killed by these creatures, and that's just something that's so much like Alien Isolation. And speaking of, like, in relation to Alien Isolation, that game was announced a few weeks back to get a sequel. They're making a sequel to Alien Isolation, which is awesome. I cannot wait for that whenever that comes out. Probably not for another few years though. So, yeah. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about here. I want to talk about Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, because it's basically another new story within this universe that I already was so invested in with the previous movies, Quiet Place Parts 1 and 2, and the Day One prequel film. I like that we're getting more of this universe, and I'm curious if John Krasinski will direct the third movie, and whenever that will come out, I'm not sure. But we'll see. So that should do it for this video. I'm going to stay extra quiet now as I take a good long break, maybe staying in the rain, because the creatures don't hear quite as much when there's water around you. So stay in water. Go to an island. That's what you want to do to survive in this world. Go to an island where there's water around you everywhere. Just go there. So yeah, that should do it for this game discussion. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.